Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinker podcast.
Mary had a little man. The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream.
Change has come to America.
Believe it.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Mr. President, when did you find out that Mike Flynn lied to the FBI?
Well, I feel badly for General Flynn. I feel very badly. He's led a very strong life, and I feel very badly, John. I will say this. Hillary Clinton lied many times to the FBI. Nothing happened to her. Flynn lied, and they destroyed his life. I think it's a shame. Hillary Clinton, on the 4th of July weekend, went to the FBI, not under oath. It was the most incredible thing anyone's ever seen. She lied many times. Nothing happened to her. Flynn lied, and it's like they ruined his life. It's very unfair. Thank you very
Mr. President,
much.
when did you find out he lied to the FBI?
It was a cluster F of a weekend, wasn't it? Wasn't that big fun, everybody? Did you watch all that? Wow, we got a lot to do. They passed a tax bill late in the middle of the night. Something that nobody had read. We're trying to figure out, even at this very moment, what is in it? What is in it? Trump said it goes into the mixer now. He doesn't know what's in it. Nobody knew what was in it. It's got handwritten notes on it that apparently could have been the scribblings of, one of the Trump children. I don't know. Then we have a discussion now on the Sunday shows about whether or not Trump obstructed justice. And then this morning, Idiot Boy goes out in front of the cameras and says, when he's asked, when did Michael Flynn tell you that he lied to the FBI, which is a very key question, because if Flynn was a known criminal, meaning that he had lied to the FBI, and Donald Trump knew it, and went to James Comey and said to James Comey to back off Flynn, then you have obstruction of justice. And pretty much you can start drafting the articles of impeachment right freaking now. So that is why it's such a key question. And again, he says, he deflects. Okay. It's always going to be about somebody else. It's never going to be about him. So let's just review one brief moment what he said this morning, because this is super important.
No, I'm not.
Okay, wait, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry.
Mr. President, when did you find out that Mike Flynn lied to the FBI?
Well, I feel badly for General Flynn. I feel very badly. He's led a very strong life, and I feel very badly, John. I will say this. Hillary Clinton lied many times to the FBI. Nothing happened to her. Flynn lied, and they destroyed his life. I think it's a shame. Hillary Clinton, on the 4th of July weekend, went to the FBI, not under oath. It was the most incredible thing anyone's ever seen. She lied many times. Nothing happened to her. Flynn lied, and it's like they ruined his life.
Oh, my God. All right, everybody. We collect the clips, right? This is what we do. Can we do a little flashback right now? Yes, we can. To the James Comey testimony, the relevant portion being, did Hillary Clinton lie to the FBI?
Did Hillary Clinton lie
to the FBI?
Yes.
We have no basis to conclude she lied to the FBI.
Oh,
Did she lie to the public?
That's a question I'm not qualified to answer. I can speak about what she said to the FBI.
Did Hillary Clinton lie under oath?
Not to the FBI, not in a case we're working.
Did you review the documents where Congressman Jim Jordan asked her specifically, and she said, quote, there was nothing marked classified on my emails, either sent or received, end quote.
I don't remember reviewing that particular testimony. I'm aware of that being said, though.
No, she didn't lie to the FBI. Not on any case I was working on. You could go over the transcripts of stuff you asked her, in Congress, but definitely not the FBI. I just am not aware. This is unbelievable. So in less than, 3 minutes, we have just shown you that Trump will not stop lying. and will not stop deflecting, and how deep this actually is. I need to show you that Adam Schiff on Friday was asked whether or not he thought that Donald Trump was lying, whether or not Donald Trump was lying.
In your view, has the president lied about what communications his team had with Russia?
Well, abundantly.
Excuse me?
And frequently, and in about just about every way.
Oh my God!
But most significant in denying that this happened, saying it's a hoax, saying, well, I asked Putin, we don't really know. Did he do it? He says he didn't. We know exactly what the Russians did, and the president knows. So yes, when he says to the country, we don't know, that's a lie. When he says we had no contact with the Russians, that's a lie.
Oh.
When his son says I had no contacts with WikiLeaks, that's a lie. When General Flynn said I never discussed sanctions with the Russian ambassador, that was a lie. And unfortunately, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for Donald Trump and Jared and Junior and Ivanka. And, I mean, listen, this is the thing. Deny and deflect, right? This is the MO. This is what they do. This is what Trump does. This is, nobody had ever seen anything like it before. Biggest tax cut in the history of the United States. It's always the biggest, the best, the worst, the most terrible disaster. It's always disaster and she lied, and it's a disaster, and and we've never seen anything like it. And I mean, it's so easy. It's so easy. Whatever he says is the biggest and the best is probably the worst and the smallest. Whatever he says it was what nobody had ever seen before is because it didn't happen. This guy is just a world heavyweight champion liar, and he can't help himself. And so if he says this morning that Hillary Clinton lied to the FBI, then you need to ask the director of the FBI, did Hillary Clinton lie to you?
Did Hillary Clinton lie?
To the FBI?
Yes.
We have no basis to conclude she lied to the FBI.
And there you have it. It takes 2 seconds to tell the truth, but a lifetime to lie. And apparently that is what Donald Trump's lifetime has been about, is lying and cheating and committing fraud and stiffing people and declaring bankruptcy and enriching himself and letting everybody else pay the bill. This is who he is. This is what he does. This is unbelievable. We have no basis to conclude that she lied to the FBI. Everybody's asking now. Jason Chaffetz just asked, did Hillary Clinton lie under oath? And Comey said, not on the case we're working on. This whataboutism, this crazy way of deflecting attention away from your obstruction of justice and your collusion. Oh, collusion. Saturday morning. Here. Oh, wait. No, Saturday morning.
No, I'm not. And what has been shown is no collusion. No collusion. There's been absolutely no collusion, so we're very happy. And frankly, last night was one of the big nights. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens means I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, let's just create a Trump dictionary. Let's just actually attribute his words to something that has a relationship to reality. Because this man does say things. He says things. He says words. The words he says have meaning. I am so tired of people telling me he's crazy. He's not a madman. He's not crazy. What he is a con man. He knows exactly what he's doing. And we need a dictionary so that we can know for sure when he says we're very happy. It means we're paranoid over here. Every lawyer has called every client that they represent inside this White House to ask, have you talked to General Flynn? He could have been wearing a wire. I bet you he was recording your phone conversations. Have you talked to George Papadopoulos? Did you know that he's been cooperating with Mueller since July? Have you talked to him? Did it go straight to voicemail? Was he, were you in community? I'm telling you, they're so paranoid at the White House. We're very happy means, oh my God, we're so freaking freaked out. No collusion means, of course we were talking to the Russians. I'm cooperating means I was in contact with WikiLeaks on Messenger. we had no contact with the Russians means Michael Flynn called Kislyak 5 times in one day, just one day. And, many times, in between. Jeff Sessions also had meetings with Kislyak privately in his Senate office that he refused to disclose. Jared Kushner was directing Mike Flynn to involve himself in a UN resolution, a UN vote before they were president, where they're supposed to stay out of foreign policy because we only have one president at a time. And now we find out that Jared was directing Michael Flynn to insert himself into. And didn't you think the Israel story was like this odd man out story? I mean, Friday we got the news that, that Jared Kushner was directing Michael Flynn to involve himself in a UN resolution having to do with Israeli settlements. Now, that was kind of a what? Because we're all waiting for Mueller to say, okay, we're done. We have collusion. We have obstruction. The day he fired Comey, he did obstruct justice. The day before that, when he fired, or not the day before, but the weeks before that, when he fired Sally Yates, who went to the White House to tell Don McGahn, the White House counsel, about Michael Flynn being blackmailable, he fired her too. You've got a repeated obstruction of justice effort ongoing in the White House when he's president. And before he's president, you have him having the man who would become his national security advisor inserting himself into foreign policy at the behest of Jared Kushner on the issue of Israel. Turns out, now, I don't know if this is, documented or I don't know how many other news sources will follow this story because we need more than one if we're going to confirm. But Newsweek is reporting today that the reason why Jared Kushner refused to disclose his financial dealings, he kept amending his security applications. He kept amending his financial disclosure forms. And I mean, he's amended them so many times that nobody believes a word he says could be relied upon for anything. Nobody believes that he's, truthful or deserves a security clearance or that anything he does is something you could put your trust or government into his hands. So Newsweek is reporting that the reason why he was directing Michael Flynn to insert himself into a UN vote, which the United States under Barack Obama was going to abstain from. We weren't going to weigh in one way or another about the veracity of Israeli settlements. We were just going to, stay neutral about it and not just abstain. That was our U.S. position, not to take a position on the expanding settlements in Israel, okay? Russia, was probably going to vote, one way, and China another, and they're all on this Permanent Security Council. So Jared said, you have to tell Russia, you have to tell them, not to vote against the increasing in the settlements, right? Well, it turns out that Jared Kushner was the co-director of the Charles and Cyril Kushner Foundation from 2006 to 15, a time when the family foundation, which he was, on the board of, was funding Israeli settlement projects, which currently was illegal under international law. He didn't disclose any of that activity on his financial records, and he didn't disclose any of that on his security clearance applications. He did 3 separate revisions on the security clearance application. He amended his financial records in March, and now we find out he's still yet to include his role as co-director in the family foundation that had a financial interest in Israeli settlement building. And that is why he directed Mike Flynn to insert himself with Russia to get Russia to vote to allow them to overturn the status of it being illegal. I mean, this is just it's just the whole crime family. They're all a bunch of crime family members, and Michael Flynn is a rat. He's a rat, and he's exactly what they deserve. They deserve a rat. Flynn's whole family are a family of rats. All of them are rats. His son is a rat. He's a rat. It's a family of rats. And now everybody in the White House is freaking paranoid because when you read the plea deal that Michael Flynn entered into, was a deal. you see that he agreed to covert operations. RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.